Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good day to all. Thank you very much. I think this is an opportunity for me to share with all of you about what is problem-based learning all about, and because after this you're going to do problem-based learning, so I think you should know a little bit about what is problem-based learning. So we're going to investigate like where we are, why do we need PBL, why PBL, and what are the PBL models all around the world. At the moment, we are actually many of us like either at the traditional teaching where there is a chalk and talk activities in the class, and I think many of you have already faced something that is got to do with active learning, where there is still lecture going on, but it is in active modes where you have some mini activities in between, and perhaps you have done some group work which is basically that is involved in terms of collaborative learning. However, in order for us to move towards student-centered, that is where we're going to bring you into what we call as problem-based learning, because this is where the problems will drive the course. So why do we need PBL? There are three main elements that is important for you in order for you to learn. It's not only about your cognitive development, but it is also involving in terms of affective domain, which is to nurture the values that the required values that you need to have in yourself, as well as activating professional skills such as teamwork skills, communication skills. These are important skills that is required to be nurtured in every one of the students. Why PBL? So the different, if let's say we compare the difference between the usual activities that you have done in the classroom, that is what we call as content-based learning, where basically you were told what you need to know in terms of like you're going to learn this particular chapter, you're going to learn this, and then you were given some theories, and then you were given some exercise to solve this particular to understand more about these chapters. This is what we call as deductive learning. However, problem-based learning is you were given a set of problems, and from that particular problem you need to identify what you need to know, and in order for you to solve that particular problem, and you have to make sure that you learn the material in order for you to solve the problem, and therefore you'll be able to apply the theories that whatever that you learn into solving that particular problem. This is what we call as inductive learning. There are many PBL models all around the world. For example, like the one that is usually being conducted at the medical schools, we call as like Maastricht model, University of Maastricht from Germany. So this well-known model, it consists of 8 to 10 members, and they have some they have tutors who will basically facilitate them into their own discussion. There are also some other model, for example, like from Republic Polytechnic in Singapore, where they have one day one problem. So in the morning they will given the problem, by the afternoon, by the evening they need to solve the problem. There are also a problem-oriented project-based learning, such as in Aalborg University in Denmark. So this particular problem normally is being given for one semester, so you need to solve it by the end of the semester. And there is another model what we call as Cpbl, and this is normally a model where it needs around 3 to 4 weeks in order for you to solve the problem, so that you'll be able to learn one learning outcome per problem. So we're going to go with Cpbl, Cooperative Problem-Based Learning. What is Cpbl? Okay, so Cpbl, number one is the difference between project-based learning and problem-based learning. So if let's say it's a project-based learning, usually you will given or you'll be taught about the content before you be given the project. But for problem-based learning, you'll be given the problem before you were taught about what are the theories behind it. And project-based learning can be for individual or group. We as a teacher, we define the problem, we identify what are the action steps, and we create a product, and you have to create a product. But for PBL, you must do it as a group. You need to define what is the problem all about, and you need to identify what are the action steps. You need to create a solution, and therefore you develop your metacognition. The similarity between PBL and project-based learning is that the educators, which is the teacher, we become your guide. You are at the center. We are no longer in the spotlight. You are at the spotlight. There should be a real world connections. The learning must be active, as well as there is a self and peer assessment, in which that by the time in the middle of the process, you need to rate your friends' performance. You need to give feedback to your friends to what extent that they have contributed to the group work. And Cpbl, it comes with the cooperative learning pedagogy, which basically there are 5 elements, important elements that you need to discover during the activity of Cpbl. The first one is positive interdependence, which means that you have to be interdependent to each other within the group. Individual accountability, which means that each and every one of you will be given a specific task within the groups that is decided by your team. And you need to have a face-to-face interaction, which means that you cannot just simply divide and compile the work. You need to meet consistently, you need to debate among yourself, you need to discuss and negotiate what will be the best solution to solve your problem. And from that, it will develop appropriate interpersonal skills, such as the teamwork skills, the communication skills, and at the same time, there is a regular group function assessment, where basically you are required to do the rating for your peers. You need to give feedback to your peers. This is what we call as a regular group function assessment. The Cpbl model basically is divided into 3 phases. So the first phase is about identifying the problem. This is what we call as problem identification. The second problem is about identifying the materials as well as the synthesizing the solutions towards the problem. And towards the end is all about making the presentation as well as the closure. So in illustration way, in the way that we illustrated is, you will given the problem. You need to identify what is the problem all about. Okay, you need to identify what are your learning issues, and therefore you need to make individual reading, which is outside of the class. You come back to the class, you share your teaching notes, which is your reading notes, to your friends, and you need to teach your group members about what you have understand from the materials that you have covered. And you need to further it with your group discussion, which can be outside of the class, and you need to put additional reading. And then you're going to come back for progress reporting with the facilitators inside the class. And if the facilitators found that there are additional things that you need to cover, so basically we'll be doing some scaffolding activities such as tutorial, videos, seminar, etc. And after that, you need to do your final reporting, and you will do your presentation or submission of report, and towards the end they will be doing the closure and feedback session.